afternoon, it's Pamela from Yorkshire in the north of England. I'm here to introduce, by hook or by crook, challenge number 3. I had a dilemma which to do for this one. I really wanted to do a book by the Reverend Richard Coles called Murder Before Evensong. If any of you know him, he's a pop singer turned vicar and now retired, and he's wrote these books. Now, I think it's probably in the vein of the Richard Osman books, you know. By the way, we'll be doing that, but I'm going to wait till the film comes out next year for that. But Reverend Richard Coles's is literally just a book, and I'm liking the idea of giving you the choice of, you know, having a book alongside what was actually produced on TV or in a film, or, you know, something on radio or whatever. And I can't do that with that one. I'm not saying I won't do it, because I really do want to do it, but for the moment I'm going to stick with this, like, you know, visual alongside a reading experience. So then you can choose which one you want to go with. So, having blathered on about all that, I have gone with Inspector Morse. Now, again, I had a bit of a quandary last night, because I thought, what is there in Morse that you can actually, you know, transfer to craft? But I thought, is that part of the fun of it? Hopefully it is, and hopefully there'll be enough for you to, you know, use your imagination and pick something that you want to make or create or whatever. So I'm going with it. I'm hoping my concerns are, you know, unfounded. We'll see. Anyway, so I'm gonna just do a quick rundown, which I have to say I've been very lazy and got a lot of this off of Wikipedia, because I have seen various things about Morse over the years. But I'm not 100% sure on my facts, to be honest, so I've gone with mostly what's on there, but there are one or two bits that I've put in for myself, of bits that I do remember. So anyway, it is probably better known as a TV drama, and it's based on the books written by Colin, Dexter. Now, DCI Morse works for the Thames Valley Police in Oxford. And it stays in Oxford throughout. He has a sidekick, which is Sergeant Lewis. And if I've read this correctly, there were 13 books featuring DCI Morse, but that became 33 episodes on TV. Much like it did with Vera, they've made more than what was written, basically. And once again, like with Vera, the writer approves of the TV series. And this is one of the bits that I thought I've heard at some point, that Colin Dexter actually prefers Morse on TV. Anyway, it also gave birth to a sequel starring Lewis. So it's gone on and on and on, basically. The young Morse... there's also a prequel that's come out of it, which is about the young Morse, and that was called Endeavour, which is Morse's first name. Now, I think, if I remember correctly, that wasn't known for a long time. We did actually watch Endeavour for quite some time, and we did enjoy it, but I mean, we watched it for a seriously long time, me and Nick, and in the end we just decided it was too dark. I don't mind mysteries, but I don't like, and I don't mean just dark in how it felt, I meant dark in, you know, even watching on screen, it's too dark. I don't like this where they don't use good lighting, so, you know, and I got a bit tired of it, so we didn't actually stick with that, so I'm out to date with the young Endeavour. Anyway, Morse comes across as, I think the word would be snobby, to be honest, and maybe standoffish, I think, but is in fact he does actually have a caring nature. The young Morse definitely does, you know. Anyway, he's a few, I can't think what the word is, where that, you know, like he's got bits of his character that don't agree with others. Like, for instance, he drinks real ale, but he also likes whiskey. He loves literature and poetry. He likes crosswords, and in fact he's very intelligent. In fact, I noticed he could actually, when I was watching, he could actually head up the grammar and spelling police if there was one, because it gets annoyed by people's grammar and mistakes with spelling. To be honest, I'm a bit of an apostrophe geek myself. People are going to put up now where I've made mistakes with apostrophes. Anyway, in the books he drives a Lancia, but in the TV series he's a big fan of the Jaguar Mark II, which is a classic British car. It's been played by John Thor throughout the Inspector Morse series, and he died in 2002, so he actually had outlived the character because they ended it in 2000. John Thor I'm going to talk a little bit about John Thor. John Thor's very interesting. Obviously we know him from things like The Sweeney, and like he was in things like Z Cars when he was younger, so he's very much had a police acting background. He was from a working class background. Now, I got some of these bits, by the way, from the book, which like I read when he died. Sheila Hancock wrote a book about their lives together, and she did it in a very clever way. She did it from when they were meeting throughout, coinciding with what was happening with his illness before he died, and it was a very good book, but very moving. Anyway, he was from a working class background, and he was in the north. I think it was Manchester side he came from, and he was mainly unhappy. His mother had left the household, I think, when he was 6 or 7 years old. Now, despite this disadvantage, and it would have been a disadvantage at that time, for somebody who wanted to go make it big in London, or in acting, to be able to go to RADA, which is the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. He was underage, but he was accepted by them, and he got his place at RADA. He got an early break in 1960, and I can't remember exactly who he was working with. It was something like James Bolan, I think. He was at RADA, if I remember correctly, with a lot of the big names, maybe Tom Courtenay, people like that. He got that early break, and he did get many parts, so he was a working actor. But they do actually attribute the Inspector Morse as his big break. Although I would say his big break was The Sweeney before it. But anyway, that's my opinion. Which is so dated now, by the way. Sexist as well. And everything elseist, But yeah, I would say that was his big break myself. But the people attribute Inspector Morse to that. He met his second wife, Sheila Hancock, who is another national treasure, in the 60s or 70s, I can't remember which now. Again, this is my knowledge from the book, really. And they were together until he died of cancer in 2002. Very sad, that. Because he was only 60, it's such a crying shame, because I think he would have had lots more. He did the one, I think, Wait Good Night, Mr. Tom, which was really good. I think he would have made a very fine aging actor, I think they spent a lot of time in France, him and his wife Sheila. I would recommend that Autobiography, by the way. Like I say, only 60-year-old, which is nothing. There's a little bit about Colin Dexter now, who wrote the books, which it was all based on. He was a teacher actually after doing national. I've got this again from Wikipedia, so again if it's wrong, blame them. He was a teacher after doing national service and getting his degree, but he was forced to quit after eight years in the job due to deafness. He got a job at Oxford University as a senior assistant secretary, so obviously this is where the Oxford connection comes in. So, and he actually stayed there for 22 years, so he was obviously immersed in the university life, and as you'll know, a lot of it was based around the university. He loved cryptic crosswords, and again, this is something that Morse likes to do. His first mystery book was actually The Last Bus to Woodstock, which is the first book featuring Inspector Morse. And that I think was 1975, but again, it may be wrong that. But it was 12 years before it was taken up by TV. And he himself died in 2017. Now you'll probably know this about Colin Dexter, but he had many cameo roles in the TV drama of the Morse series. You know, he usually appeared in pubs at back of the shop, so if you ever watch one, it tells you who he was, you know, in the credits, and just, you know, like he just was there, you know, as a lot of authors are there while the things are being filmed. So The Last Bus to Woodstock, it's not the first that was taken up by TV. That was The Dead of Jericho. The Last Bus to Woodstock features a woman killed while hitchhiking. I've tried to find if the book is in print, and it doesn't appear to be, but there are used copies available online. It's also available on Kindle, Kindle Unlimited and Audible. I rewatched the episode yesterday and I got that on Sky Q. Now, like I say, I don't know whether there's enough in it for it to be the subject of our By Hook or By Crook. If you've got serious concerns about it, please let me know and we may rethink. But if you want to give it a go, I really would appreciate that. Obviously, I'm accepting entries for all crafts, so that's, you know, knitting, crochet, embroidery, tapestry, painting, drawing, origami, anything art or crafty. Now, as per usual, you'll need to submit your entry by email. My email address is usually in the box below. If I forget to put that there, I'm sure one of you will call it out for me. And you will need to have received a reply from me within a couple of days of sending it, otherwise you will know that I haven't got it, because I will acknowledge any entry that is made. The closing date is 3 months, which is, well, just short of, because I'm a bit late with this, is 3 months, which is the 30th of September 24, and again the closing time is midnight UK time, so whatever time that is in your own country is your closing time. The prize again will be a £15 e-voucher for Etsy or Amazon. Again, if Etsy change the goalposts and make the lowest available voucher more than £15, I will have to rethink that, because I don't really want to give any more than £15. I've got no affiliations with anybody. This is entirely run by me on my own from Barnsley. And that once again, I will do an update towards the deadline of the 30th of September. I will come on and say how I'm doing. You know, if I can think of any inspiration, I'll let you know. So that's it for this one. Like I say, I thought it was a chance to give the men a go, because the two I've featured so far have been female detectives, albeit one of them was an amateur. But yeah, I thought I'll give the chaps a go on it. So Inspector Morse it is. Anyway, tell me what you think. I'll hope to see you soon with an update on all my other stuff. But for now, take care of yourselves. I'll see you.